Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. In today's video, it's going to be the big differentials ahead of the Gameweek 14 deadline. Lots to cover, lots in attack, midfield, defence and goalkeeper, of course. Now, thank you very much for the support on the last video. Go check it out. It's my early plans ahead of the deadline coming up at the weekend. We've hit 1,400 subscribers on the channel, so another milestone. Thanks to all you wonderful viewers. If you could, go hit the subscribe button down below if you haven't already. I know there's quite a few of you out there, still over 80% of you who watch these videos who haven't smashed that subscribe button. It's completely free. We're racing towards 1,500 and it would be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's crack on with the content. As I touched on a little bit in the introduction, thank you all so much for the support on the channel over the last few videos and months and so on and so forth. The channel started, I think it was in March, April time, and I can't thank you all enough for the support on the videos, on all my socials. It really is greatly appreciated. 1,500 we are on the road to. And with all Dream Team content on the channel, if we could hit 100 thumbs up, push the content out to all the people who need to see it and who want to potentially get a few differentials into their teams completely free, go ahead, smash the like button down below. Now, as you can see by the graphic on your screen, goalkeepers first up. We've got plenty of good choices in today's video. Surprisingly, as well, over the last few weeks, certain players have gone over that massive 10% ownership mark, which is the threshold for players to be eligible for this video today. Anyone under 10%, they are acceptable for the list. For the goalkeepers, we've got Donnarumma of Manchester City, Sanchez of Chelsea, Alisson of Liverpool, Emi Martinez of Aston Villa and Aaron Ramsdale of Newcastle. We'll get to him in just a little while. For Donnarumma, 7.9% ownership, 4 million in price, 9 save points. So despite him coming into the Man City team a little bit later on, his save percentage, I think, is the third worst in the league, which is surprising because when you watch Donnarumma, he's bailing them out. But apparently, a lot more going past him in the net. He's gone from 9 goals conceded to 15 goals conceded over the last 2 games, I believe. Conceding 4 to Fulham really didn't help that graphic. For reference, this is being recorded on Wednesday afternoon before those fixtures, but after the Tuesday night one, so Man City have already played. 66 points, 4.4 points average total per game. Not too bad for him in the Man City team where he normally plays, but he is prone occasionally to a rotation with James Trafford. Sanchez of Chelsea, 7.8% ownership, 3.9 million in price, so just a smidge cheaper than Donnarumma. 17 goals conceded. Now, that has got the green graphic compared to Donnarumma's red, sorry. That's because the sheer amount of games that he's played more. Chelsea, over recent weeks, they've looked very good defensively. I think that back four is coming together when they don't get rotated and it's Chalobah, Cucurella, normally Gusto with James in midfield and either Tosin or one of the younger lads playing. The defence looks good. When they rotate a little bit and someone like Jarell Hatto comes in, not too great. 77 points in total, 4.5 points average per game, so really good returns for him. Alisson just come back into that Liverpool side, fresh off the back of a clean sheet away to West Ham. If Jared Bowen sticks that last minute shot from the edge of the box in the top corner, looks a little bit different, but 2-0 victors in that one. 3.7% owned, 4 million in price, so there's a few people on this list who are between 3.5 to 4.5 million. It just tips the balance either way from premium to slightly affordable. 6 save points, 13 goals conceded, which is a very poor amount, I'd say. Lucky not to be red on that graphic. He's missed a lot of this campaign through injury, and when he's come back, they do look more solid at the back, but they're still conceding the goals. 39 total points, but less than 4 points average per game isn't too good for a player of that value. But Liverpool's fixtures are becoming slightly better. Are they tightening up at the back? They did look a lot better with Joe Gomez at right back, but due to his injury problems, I'm not sure how many he can play in a row. Emi Martinez, only 1.1% owned, quite high in value, 4.4 million, 11 save points, which is really good. Only 10 goals conceded. Marco Bizzo did play a few games at the start of the season, but looks like Martinez is very much a mainstay in that Villa side, specifically in the league. You wouldn't expect him to ever get dropped. In the cup, he might miss a game every now and again, but only 10 goals conceded really does show that that Villa side, despite a poor start to the campaign, has turned things around massively. 67 total points, just shy of 5 points average per game, 4.8 for him, so a very good asset in my opinion. And final one on today's list for goalkeepers, it's Aaron Ramsdale. Now, it looks like Nick Pope is going to be out for the next 3 weeks at least, But if you talk to a lot of Newcastle fans, it does seem like Aaron Ramsdale is the flavour of the week. In my opinion, was at fault for the second Romero goal yesterday. Didn't move his feet, didn't react fast enough, and as an Arsenal fan, that is all too familiar with his performances. 1% owned, 3 million in price, so a really good budget player when it comes to that defence. With no Pope, I'd fully expect Ramsdale to play in the Carabao Cup as well. 4 save points, 6 goals conceded, 17 points in total, and only 3.4 average points per game. But these graphs and this stats for Aaron Ramsdale specifically are a little bit skewed. He's conceded 6, but he did get brought on for the penalty. I think it was away to Brentford, so he didn't really stand much chance with that one, which obviously affects his average points as well. So I think 5 goals conceded and 3.6 average points upwards is probably where he's actually at. But for that price, I think over a busy Christmas period, he does offer a great route into that Newcastle defence if you're still looking for a European Dublin goalkeeper. For the defenders today, we've got a mixture of potential risks, but very high rewards. Chalobah from Chelsea, Nunez of Manchester City, Lewis Hall of Newcastle United, Pau Torres of Aston Villa, and Mosquera of Arsenal. We'll start at the top and work our way down with this one. Chalobah, 8.9% owned, 4 million in price, so not too high, slightly high on that middle ground, I'd say. 12 bonus points, 5 tackle points, which is a little low, 100 points, massive green mark on the graph for that one, and nearly 6 average points per game for a player that gets the odd rotation, yes, as we spoke about in the previous graph, but nearly 6 average points a game for a defender, where if you turn up and get a clean sheet, you're getting 7 points a week. It just goes to show those bonus points, those tackle points, and the clean sheets that Chelsea are bringing at the minute are really racking up for Chalobah. And he is a goal threat. As an Arsenal fan, I saw that at the weekend. Great flick on at the near post. And he does that from time to time. Nunez of Manchester City, 2.3% owned, 4.3 million in price, 10 bonus points, 6 tackle points, 81 points total, with 5.1 average points per game. It does look like that right back position is his to lose. He will be rotated with Kujanov, in my opinion, and we've seen John Stones get the occasional game at right back as well. But when he plays, prior to last night, of course, against Fulham at the time of recording this, they have looked quite solid at the back, and he does offer a little bit of threat going forward as well. Lewis Hall, 1.1% owned, only 3.3 million in value. That's a ridiculous value for him, considering what he brings to that Newcastle team. The fullbacks offer so much more when it's Livramento and Lewis Hall compared to Dan Burn and Trippier. 10 bonus points, 7 tackle points for a player that has missed the majority of the season through injury. He's picked up little niggles here and there. The one problem with Lewis Hall is, can he play 3 games in a week, especially over the Christmas period? I'm not too sure, but when he's on the pitch, he is a real big threat. 47 total points, 4.3 average points per game. I think he's a great option, but can he pick up enough points in the game that he plays for the games that he misses? And I'm not too sure. Pau Torres, someone who's gone slightly under the radar in my opinion, with Tyrone Mings still out, and Lindelof, when he comes into the side, he plays at right back and they rotate Cash. Pau Torres has played the majority of minutes for Aston Villa since about, I think it was game week 5 or 6. 1.1% ownership, 3.8 million in value, 8 bonus points, only 4 tackle points, 75 total points, and just a little bit off 5 points average per game for him, 4.7 in fact. A good route into that Villa defence. I do think his form at the start of the campaign was pretty poor. Tyrone Mings was starting alongside Ezra Konsa, but I think Pau Torres has slipped back into that role really well. And if you're going to target Villa, in my opinion, you go for the centre halves. Maybe Matty Cash at right back, but he's prone to a rotation, or the goalkeeper. Stay away from that left back position at all costs. Digne and Matson constantly rotating. And the final defender on today's list, I've gone for Mosquera of Arsenal. It does look like Saliba's injury isn't too bad. Gabriel's injury, they're targeting him to come back for potentially Everton in a couple of game weeks' time. So this Mosquera one is very short term for those of you who want a route into the Arsenal defence, and it is a massive gamble, of course. For me, the best centre-half pairing that we've currently got fit is Saliba and Mosquera. Hincapié is a bit raw. At the weekend away to Chelsea, he reminded me a little bit of Gabriel. Not the good Gabriel centre-back, but the Gabriel that we had a few seasons ago with Mustafi and Koscielny. And that's not a good comparison. Of course, Hincapié, in my opinion, is a better left-back than left centre-half, but maybe he needs a few run of games in the team. Mosquera, 3.5 million, only 1 bonus point, 8 tackle points though, which is quite big. It's the most on today's list for a defender, and when you compare that to a lot of other Arsenal defenders, it's extremely high. That's either a good thing or a bad thing. He does pick up the odd yellow card. He's a bit full on into the tackle, but if he's picking up tackle points and getting away with the yellow cards, and in a back four, that's probably it is the best defensive unit in the league when it's all together. I think he's a pretty good value. 51 total points, but only 3-point average points per game. Heavily affected by substitutions onto the pitch. He got brought on for a few minutes here and there. It's a massive gamble, but if you do want an Arsenal defender, he's probably the route to go at the minute. Saliba's still nursing an injury. Might even be back tonight at time of recording this at home to Brentford, but if he's not, he'll certainly be back for Villa away at the weekend. So they are the defenders. The midfield maestros are up next, and we're starting off with a certain Florian Wirtz. Played at the weekend away to West Ham, was probably his best game in a Liverpool shirt. Maybe the Real Madrid at home fixture in the Champions League could rival it slightly. He played out on the right-hand side, I believe it was, Gakpo on the left with Isak up front. He didn't score a goal, but he did look quite good on the ball. 4.9 million in value, so he's dipped massively. I think he started the season at 6.5 million. It was either 6 or 6.5, I'm sure it was. So he's dropped massively in value. He's finally under that 5 million threshold. And when he does reach a certain price, it becomes more obtainable to many of us. 6 shots on target, which is something that I did see when I was gathering this data. He's still getting the shots on target despite not scoring. And you can only imagine that the goals will come eventually. Disappointingly, only 5 bonus points. Big red for the average points per game this season. Only 3.3 for what did start off as a premium priced asset. 53 points, but this isn't what's gone for Wirtz. It's what could come in the future. Of course, Mo Salah does depart for AFCON in a couple of game weeks' time, and I do think Florian Wirtz's minutes will go up massively. Hopefully, for you Liverpool fans, he starts picking up that connection with either Isaac or Ekitike going forward, and I do think there is potential there, but he has to show it on a more consistent basis. Next up, Nico O'Reilly of Manchester City, categorised as the midfielder, not a left back on this game. 6.7% ownership, 3.1 million in price, so an exceptionally priced asset. 9 shots on target, so he's getting forward from fullback. Only 4 bonus points, which is a little low. 83 points this season so far, ridiculous. Could you imagine how high that stat would be if he was categorised in the correct position this season? It'd be well over the 100 mark. 4.6 average per game, a really good budget differential in that midfield still. I thought his ownership would have actually been higher. Bruno Guimaraes, it was benched last night at home to Tottenham, came on, still got the goal, 4% ownership, 5.1 million in price, so pretty expensive for us to slip into that midfield. If it was about that 4 million price range, I think he would be in a lot more teams. 8 shots on target, 9 bonus points, so he's picking up points all across the board. 109 total points. This is a player I've not seen in many teams at all, specifically those engaged managers. For Newcastle this season, players have been picked up defensively wise, maybe a Voltamada and Anthony Gordon, an occasional Harvey Barnes after his brace the other week, but I haven't seen Bruno Guimaraes. He's averaging 5.5 points a game for a midfielder. That is really, really good. Now, the price isn't great, but he's picking up consistency and points. He's had his benching now. He came on, I think it was at half time yesterday. Just a really solid asset. Next up, Youri Tielemans of Aston Villa, 0.7% ownership, 4.2 million in price. Had a big injury throughout this campaign, slowly coming back. If you played Dream Team last year, you know how important he was for that team. Him and Rodgers played the majority of minutes, and there was really good players to own. 4 shots on target, so he's getting up high already. 3 bonus points. I'd assume that races up as well. 33 total points and 3.7 points average per game. Mainly in amber for this one because it has been an injury hit season. With Ross Barkley now out, I believe it's for 2 months. You've probably got McGinn, Bogard, Tielemans and Onana as options in midfield. But when they're fit, Tielemans is probably one of the first names on the team sheet. And the final player on today's list is Martin Odegaard, the man who is yet to get to half-time, I believe, in a Premier League home fixture. I do think he will start for Arsenal tonight against Brentford, but that is not confirmed. We've not had any team news at the time of recording this. That's just gut instinct. When he came on at the weekend, unfortunately, he came on with 9 minutes to go, not 10 minutes to go, so his price won't be affected. 1.5% ownership, 4.1 million in value, 2 shots on target, 2 bonus points, 24 total points for the season, and only 2.7 points average as well. So he's only averaging 0.6 less than Florian Wirtz, but he's been out for, I think, 7 or 8 game weeks at least. When he's fit, he's got the captaincy armband on him, and he will play the majority of the minutes over a very busy Christmas period. In my opinion, I think the front three should be, for Arsenal, Saka, Odegaard, Eze on the left, and Gyökeres up front with Rice and Zubimendi behind them. We're still yet to see that front six, I believe, this season. Maybe for 20 or 30 minutes tops in one of the games before Odegaard went off injured, but we know what he can do for Arsenal. He showed glimpses already. When he's on the ball, he scores. He frustrated me in Dream Team last season when I went for him over Declan Rice, and Declan Rice, of course, stuck to magical free kicks in the top corner against Real Madrid. But for Odegaard, his reliability of minutes, and I do think those points will race up very quickly. For me, on this list, O'Reilly and Gameres standout performers. The final batch of players in today's video is probably the best attacking lineup that has been in the best differentials video all season. We've got some very premium priced assets that I assume will not be on this list for more than one game week at all. So first up, Cody Gakpo. Time of making this, his ownership was 10.0%. So smack bang on the threshold. Wouldn't be surprised if it was over. For reference, I do have a picture of him being exactly 10%. So if he snuck up to 10.1%, I've already got you, Cody, in this one. 4.4 million in price, 10 shots on target, 10 goal involvements so far this season for him, which is ridiculous. At 110 points, 6.1 points average per game. I think he's gone heavily under the radar. I think quite a few people went for him over Salah at the start of the season. Maybe shifted away from him slightly with a bit of rotation over the past few game weeks, but his performances and his reliability of being picked under Arne Slot can't be overlooked. And when Salah goes away in a couple of weeks to AFCON, even before then, as a Salah owner, if Salah doesn't start tonight, for me, maybe Cody Gakpo is the way forward. Whenever you watch him, he's such a great player. Not necessarily in the build-up, but he's always getting involved for goal involvements, and that's what we're looking for on Dream Team. 4.4 million, as I said, 10 goal involvement. He picks up bits and pieces along the way, a bit of tackle points here and there. A really good asset to own. Next up, Victor Gyökeres of Arsenal, 8.9% ownership. I remember a time he was over 20 prior to his injury. 5.6 million, so a very premium priced asset. 13 shots on target. Now, we've spoke about this a few times on this list. When we look at a player who's got heavy shots on target, Mateta was one a couple of weeks back. I forgot the player who was the other one that was springing to mind. I'm sure Isak, that was the other one. When they're shooting on target, normally goals come. Mateta was a prime suspect of that. Scored a hat-trick, could have scored 4. I think if you would have looked at that for a midfielder under 10%, I think Phil Foden would have been another one. But of course, he is massively over 10%. These players that you look at and they're just constantly getting shots off from any angle, testing the goalkeeper. 7 goal involvements, which is a bit higher than I actually thought that he's done so far for Arsenal this season. 6 goals and an assist, I'm tempted to say, for him. 79 points, 5.3 average points per game for a striker that I thought would have been a 2-pointer or an 8-9 pointer per game, which probably is why he's 5.3 million, because he goes through them spells. If he has 2, then a 9, he's pretty much bang on those average points. He will start playing more up front for Arsenal. What happens when Kai Havertz comes back is still yet to be seen. Of course, Gabriel Jesus was on the bench as well. But for the way Gyökeres plays, he's going to get minutes in the Arsenal side. Alexander Isak, 2.9% owned. Probably his best game in a Liverpool shirt the weekend away to West Ham. Took his goal really well first time into that near corner. Didn't leave the goalkeeper with much chance. 5.7 million in price, which is very expensive for a player that is going to get rotated with Ekitike. But it does look like Isak is first choice. 10 shots on target. Only 3 goal involvements, 2 goals and an assist for the Cody Gakpo goal away to Chelsea. 44 total points and only 4 average points per game for a player that's touching near 6 million. Not great, but once again, same as Gakpo. It's probably going to be Isak, Wirtz and either Gakpo or Ekitike, I'd assume, on that left-hand side. To me, they're going to play Gakpo, Isak and Wirtz, exactly the same lineup that they played against West Ham when Salah goes away, and they will be more nailed per minutes. Daniel Marlin, Aston Villa, I know a few people went there last week, 2.7% ownership. A couple of the Dream Team Tonic lads slipped him into their team for the budget reasons. He went up 0.3 million in value. He's still only 3 million, so a very good budget asset. 13 shots on target for a player that hasn't necessarily been starting many games. He started up front at the weekend, but when he gets on the pitch, he's another one that's just getting shots away left, right, and centre. That should probably be a dark green. I might even change that before on the graphic, not too sure. But in my opinion, 13 shots on target is a ridiculous return. 7 goal involvement, 78 total points, and just over 4 points average per game. Just gets that orange marker ahead of the red one. And the final player on today's list for the attackers is Liam Delap. Got brought on at the weekend for João Pedro. Chelsea wanted a more physical presence to combat the Arsenal centre-halves who were both on a booking, and Liam Delap, a bit of a wind-up merchant as well, loves a bit of a battle. 1.1% ownership, 3.7 million in value, so not too expensive. 5 shots on target, 1 goal involvement, which was of course his goal against Barcelona in the Champions League. 20 total points, only 2.2 average points per game though, which is really, really poor. I think him coming back into fitness now, they'll build him up. They'll want to protect João Pedro as well, who is prone to the odd injury. You've got Cole Palmer coming back into the team as well, which will have lots more productivity and creativity. Enzo's done well in that number 10 role, but you can't discount what Cole Palmer brings to that Chelsea side. So for me on this list, the player that stands out most, Cody Gakpo by far. Ticked over the century in points, well over 6 average points per game, 10 goal involvements, 10 shots on target. A very good asset that could potentially fly in ownership as well. That concludes today's video, the big Game Week 14 differential. Leave a comment down below on what player out these 4 lists today in goalkeeper, attack, midfielder and defender has caught your eye the most, and which one has potentially made their way into your transfer plans. Now, down in the description below my socials, we've got Instagram, X and TikTok. Mouth stopped working there for a minute. Got all the socials down there below. If you could hit the thumbs up on today's video, 100 likes is the target. Smash the subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,500 on the channel, and hit the bell notification as well so you don't miss an upload in your sub box. Now, thank you very much for watching today's video, and you'll be seeing me in a new one very soon.